Based on the best-selling novel Sweet Bitter,
All I had was a vision. Endless city streets. A 24-hour life.
Stars presents an intoxicating new series
Looking back, it was a blur of momentary madness.
about finding your way in New York
Everyone was new once. Don't get overwhelmed.
New girl, you having fun yet?
and tasting life for the first time.
Coming here? It's not a mistake, is it?
New York's never a mistake.
Sweet Bitter premieres May 6th, only on Stars. Get the Stars app today and start your free trial.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Academy Travel at MickeyVacations.com. Academy Travel is the official travel sponsor of the Pirates and Princesses podcast, and we can't recommend them enough. Go to MickeyVacations.com/PNP. That's MickeyVacations.com/PNP to get started on your next Disney dream vacation today. And now on with the show. Hey, we've seen Avengers Infinity War, and we're going to spoil all of it for you. No, we're not. We're going to talk about that and some more Disney news on this episode of Pirates and Princesses. Please stick around.
Oh, hello there. So glad you could come along.
I put a spell on you.
Grid is live. Initiate light cycle battle.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
For a safe trip, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. Be sure to watch your children, and no smoking, please.
Welcome to the Pirates and Princesses podcast.
We're a different kind of Disney podcast. We do it our way.
We talk about Disney parks, Disney movies, TV, video games.
Anything Disney.
I'm your host, Thom Pratt.
And I'm your other host, Kam Pratt.
Welcome back to Pirates and Princesses. As always, I'm your host, Thom Pratt, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Cambria Pratt.
That is me.
That is a spoiler. She's here too.
Spoiler, I'm Cambria.
Spoiler alert.
I'm his wife.
Cambria appears in this episode.
Plot twist. I'm his wife.
Yes. No, we did see Avengers Infinity War last night. We're not going to spoil
No,
it.
I already yelled at Tom for saying, even hinting
I was
going
joking
to.
that we're going to spoil it, but we did see it. And we'll share some non-spoiler thoughts on the biggest Marvel movie of all time. So, your thoughts?
I'll let you do your thoughts first.
My thoughts as an avid comic book reader, as someone who's been reading comics
Someone who actually read the series.
And I was surprised by the reaction of the audience. Obviously, these people do not read the comics. Some of the things that happen, I'm like, what happened in the comics?
To be fair, we went to the movie theater that was a nicer one around us, and it's in a college town.
Yeah.
So the theater was chock full of college kids
who were actually born after the Infinity Gauntlet was published.
And there was only a couple children there. Our daughter was one of them.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it is a little bit violent, I think, for kids in places.
Compared to the other Marvel movies.
Right. I mean, my daughter's like all excited about Jurassic World. So, I mean, she's leaning in her seat like, yeah. So, I mean, she was one that could handle it. But some kids might, if you're worried about that with your kids, I'd look into it a bit more because it might be a little much for some kids.
Yeah,
I will say that. That's not spoiling it.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil. It is a little more violent. I mean, the stakes have been raised in this movie compared to previous Marvel movies. You know, as a fan of the comics, I read the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, which this is loosely based on, and I'm using the term loosely.
Yeah, you made sure you said loosely.
Loosely based on. The basic plot points are there, but there are some things that are some big things that are missing from it, and that's basically due to the fact that a lot of those characters that were involved in the Infinity Gauntlet do not exist in the MCU yet. I mean, they may come later, but like the Marvel. The Infinity Gauntlet stories dealt a lot with the cosmic Marvel characters, and we haven't really seen too many of those in the MCU. They did have Ego in the last movie.
But they already got rid of him.
They already got rid of him. Yeah, so it's, there are a lot of changes. I mean, just, it is what it is. It works for the MCU.
It works
for being
really well for the MCU.
Yeah, for being the culmination of all these movies, because they've been teasing the Infinity Stones since the very beginning. It definitely does work for being the big event for the MCU. It's just not as big and grandiose as the comics.
I didn't read the comics. And I think it works.
Yeah.
You read the comics, and you're more upset than I am about it.
I'm not upset. I realize that, like, we're talking apples and oranges here, because the MCU is a very condensed version of the Marvel Comics universe. We don't have as many characters. We don't have as much history with these characters. We don't have a lot of the cosmic entities. We don't have, all the stuff that took Marvel decades. I mean, when Infinity War was published, Marvel had been around for like 30 plus years at that point. I think it was 30 years, because it's 91. So, they had 30 years of history to draw from, whereas the MCU has 10. 30 years of publishing dozens of books per month, every month. You had all these characters, and pretty much like everybody was in some capacity in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. And, and this is the case with the MCU, where pretty much everybody in the MCU is in this to some capacity, with a few exceptions. But, so they make it work for what they have to work with, I guess, is the best way I can put
But
it.
I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. It was good. Had I not read the
things.
comics, I'd be like, oh my god, this blows my mind. And clearly the audience there were just some of the plot points. They were like, oh my god, so shocking.
I know, we
And
all
I'm
were
like,
expecting
oh my
it.
God, come
And
on.
actually, I expected it to be much worse than it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into elaborate. When you watch, you understand. I expected it to be a lot worse at the end than it was. But they were crying and they were like freaking out around us, and I'm just like, did you not look this up at all? Not spoilers, but just in general.
Yeah, they did borrow some of the major plot points from the Infinity Gauntlet, and everybody was just really kind of shocked. I'm like, okay, the book's only like 30 some years old, but okay.
And we're all looking around like, wait, you didn't know
Or
this?
25 years old. I guess like
I
25
didn't
years
read the
old.
comics, but I knew because you told me, and it was anybody who wants to know
Yeah.
can find it out easy what happened in the books. But it's like any time. Most often books are different than the movies. Usually books are better than the movies,
adapted it.
except for a few exceptions.
They adapted it as best they could for this medium with the characters they had to work with. Obviously, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is not a spoiler because they're in the commercial, but they play a pretty big part.
Yeah, a lot larger part than I thought they would.
They were in the movie a lot more than I thought. And I
think that's because we got a new Guardians ride coming and a new Guardians stage show coming. And
the Guardians were very, very present in this movie, and I think it's because now they were not really around when the Infinity Gauntlet came out. They had a Guardians team, but it was a very different team. I won't go into the details too much, but it wasn't Star-Lord and Groot and all those guys. Disney kind of cobbled them together from different places. They were definitely in the movie a lot more than I expected them to be, and I think they were sort of taking the place of all the other cosmic-powered teams that were not available, namely the Fantastic Four. They were kind of the stand-in, I think, for the Fantastic Four.
Because they're thinking they're going to get them back by next year.
Yeah.
So, and then they already teased Adam Warlock. So
yeah, at the end of Guardians, ironically
so,
enough. So
then there's another movie. So
Yes,
I'm just
yes.
saying that's not over yet. You
No.
know. And they
No,
also
that's-
teased Captain Marvel too.
yeah.
So that's not spoiling anything, honestly.
No.
Everybody knew that was coming. It's all over the place.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good. I'm still trying to figure out how to rate it. There was a lot. You will not be bored during this movie because it moves at like a million miles a second.
It was over but it's long too.
It's like
It
almost
was,
3 hours.
Was it that long?
Yeah, it was long. It just like keeps going.
Remember, there was commercials in there too. It started at 7.
That's probably about 2.5 hours.
That's
then.
about, yeah.
It was definitely a long movie, but there were no slow, one of the problems we had with Black Panther. I like Black Panther, but I'll admit it had some slow.
I like this better than Black Panther.
Yeah,
but I didn't really like the Black Panther that much. Mostly because I thought it was too talky.
It was very talky,
And
but
it was
this the Black Panther is in this movie. Now he's not in it as much as the Guardians of the Galaxy, though.
But you know what, though? They filmed this before they realized the Black Panther was going to be such a big deal.
I was thinking that.
Which is going to bite them in the butt.
I was thinking that because I think a lot of people were expecting, because even in the commercials, they, spend a lot of time on the Black Panther. Like, hey, everybody, Black Panther's going to be in this movie. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Wakanda and his sister are kind of key, so, but...
Yeah, but they don't focus on them as much as they did the Guardians.
Guardians were the big focus. They really were.
They really were. This almost was like, they call it Avengers Infinity War. I'm really thinking it should be called Guardians of the Galaxy Infinity War, because I really think...
This is not a bad thing, though.
No, it works, but that means that the humor's ramped up. More so than...
See, this is where we disagree, because Tom thinks the humor is a little bit wrong. I think it fits for the MCU, because they've already established... if you read the comics, I can understand that, because it's a lot more serious in the comics.
Infinity Gauntlet was a very somber storyline.
So if that's a story you love, then the humor doesn't fit. It's kind of like the Star Wars thing, where like I had a problem with the humor because it was really ridiculous slapstick humor and did not fit in in the field of other Star Wars movies. Yeah. This one, it fits with the Marvel MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it doesn't really fit with the comics.
Yeah, it's
but it does fit with the MCU.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Totally fit. It wasn't.
It does because you got these characters meeting for the first time, which is another thing that's different from the comics, obviously, because at that point in the comics history, they've been around 30 years. They publish comics every month. Everybody's pretty much met everybody else. Like they all know when the chips are down, the whole gang gets together and they fight. This one, you've got to introduce all these characters to each other for the first time, and so that kind of but it works because you have I think my favorite parts were actually Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, because they're both egomaniacs and they just clash, constantly. So that was pretty fun, and it does work. It works for the MCU. This is what I'm trying to if you're expecting a literal adaptation of the comic book. If you're a comic book fan, you're going to be a little underwhelmed because there's so much missing from...
I just don't think there's as many comic book fans that are going to have read it as there are the
Clearly,
MCU
judging by the reaction of the audience.
Not just that. We go to comics. We work at comic conventions, and we work in comics and stuff. And what I'm seeing at the audiences there are not people who necessarily read the comics and read all the comics. You have your diehard fans who do, and that's awesome. They can. But there's a lot of people who are there because they like the movies, like the pop culture. Yeah. And I think that if you're a diehard comics fan, it might seem out of place, but majority of the people are going to be like, oh, this fits with the MCU. It's totally cool.
It does. And that's why I'm saying it's going to be really hard to judge this one because it's it's like one of those big massive sprawling storylines that the next one that's going to be a real challenge, and I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off really, is X-Men. They're doing Dark Phoenix Saga. And that was another huge sprawling big Marvel story with a lot of cosmic characters. And clearly, the X-Men universe are not going to be able to do it because...
they separated themselves.
Yeah, they separated themselves.
They should have waited until everybody was reunited to do it because that's going to make the most sense. But, they probably started it before they knew that would be even an option. So
and it's going to be a very small story. And that's kind of like this one, for the MCU, it felt big because you were going to a bunch of different planets. You've got all these, cosmic characters involved. But it still seems small compared to the comics where you had dozens and dozens and dozens of characters. Right. Everybody but the kitchen sink. This was everything.
It was in the. You said it was in the 6 issues, and then all the other comics were doing little things. That
they had actually the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. They had I'd forgotten about this. They actually had a Thanos series leading up to it of how he acquired the gems. In the comics, are the Infinity Gems. Here they call them the Infinity Stones. But it was way different than because this one was kind of convenient, all the gems are pretty much on Earth. We already knew that because they show all the gems
not on Earth but different places. They've been
close to. They're all very close.
You've seen them before, let's put it that way. You've seen them before.
Right. Whereas in the comics, Thanos had to scour the galaxy to find them, and that was a whole thing that he was going out to find them, and his motivations for collecting them are completely different than the movie. So but it does work. They a lot of the key plot points they do have there. Thanos works better than I thought he was going to, because as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, he's getting this hokey CG. But really, even when they zoom in on his face, I'm like, good. He does look good. I didn't let people were making fun of him. They're like, oh, he's gonna look like a big purple Homer Simpson. But I think he actually worked. Josh Brolin.
I think he did
really
good. I think it worked. I think it did. But so it's good. I liked it better than Black Panther.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very busy. I have to watch it again because there's so much that happens.
You have to brace yourself for a lot of things. I can't ruin things, so I'm not going to say things. But judging by the audience reaction around us, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, but knowing if they follow the beats of the comics.
But if people don't read comics, they're not going to
So it's. The comic was pretty shocking for the time. But it was...
Yeah, we expected it because you already told me what would happen. We looked stuff up before. Not for the movie, but the comic.
I felt like a jerk because people around me are really reacting to what's going on. And I'm looking around me like, have these people never... the comic book has been around for 25 years.
No, you could look into... at any time. And that wasn't a spoiler for the movie.
No, it's not spoiler.
Because they are different. But
they are different, but it's still the same basic...
I'm trying to think what to say about spoiling things, and it's really hard. We'll wait a couple weeks, and then we can actually talk about
spoilers. We'll talk about more in depth. But, suffice to say, the major plot points, the major story beats of the Infinity Gauntlet, if you want to spoil it for yourself, it follows that. It does follow that. So, and
we won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, and let's just imagine that, you know, we had the Infinity Gauntlet series, and then we halfway through the series, we just stop the movie, and that's pretty much what happens. So people are like, ah.
Yeah. And so I mean, it's really good. I definitely recommend you go see it. It's actually really good. I did think that their campaign with the whole not spoiling it for people, the hashtag Thanos, was it demands your silence?
Yeah.
Wasn't really well thought out, because I'm like, you don't like Thanos, so why would you do what he said? You know, I'm like, that was kind of like, okay.
Well, now, okay, so let's talk. Okay, so we talked about the movie. Let's just talk real quick here about
the previews of the movie.
Yeah, because
I knew you were going to go
this.
there.
This is kind of important, and this is something Disney needs to be worried about. I really think Disney needs to be worried about.
If you're listening to this, Disney, you need to worry about
If you're
this.
listening to this, here's the thing. So we're watching the previews, and they had a slew of previews, obviously. I mean, this is one of the biggest movies of the year, if not the biggest movie of the year. They're going to have all the big stuff.
Venom, and they had...
We had Venom, which was
another Mission Impossible, like Mission Impossible 500.
I don't even know what they're on. I
Somehow
didn't watch
Tom Cruise always looks like he's 45.
I was sitting
really
there thinking that. I'm
strange.
like, Tom Cruise looks younger than I do. Like,
No, he
what?
doesn't.
He's drinking. He's drinking unicorn baby blood or something to keep, or Botox,
or it's in his contract. They have to like go in and airbrush everything or something.
Everything's. He's got like that CG mask that they put over, like to make Jack Sparrow younger. They made.
I don't know.
Solo younger.
But yeah, so they have another Mission Impossible movie again,
Yeah.
and then we got to the one you're going to talk about.
Okay, so actually we'll talk about two.
They come together.
Yeah, and they had the Venom trailer, which is I think people's reaction to Venom. I think Tom Hardy is great. I think he's a great choice because he looks like comic book Eddie Brock. But I think the biggest problem people are having is Venom's origin is tied into Spider-Man's, and Spider-Man's not in the movie.
Right.
That we know of. I mean, it's still Sony, but they pretty much have put him in the MCU now.
Right, so we'll see what happens.
But, yeah, and people, I think they probably wanted to see the black costume turn into Venom. Done right, because Spider-Man 3 butchered the whole thing. But anyway, so they had the trailer for Deadpool 2, which looks freaking amazing.
It does look good.
Deadpool 2 looks so good, and again, we were in a theater full of mostly college kids. They're cheering this movie. They think it's fantastic.
One guy in the back. There was a guy in the back, and every time something happened, I have to move back to the microphone a little bit. All you hear is, he was worth the whole movie just because he kept making you laugh because he was so joyful and loved things so much.
He was drinking before
it made everybody laugh because he was so great.
He was.
Sorry, that was really loud.
It was like the Chewbacca mom or whatever. He just
No,
Deadpool 2 looks amazing, which brings us to the next problem. Deadpool 2 comes out a couple of days after Solo, and that was the next trailer was Solo. The Solo trailer. I think it was right before Infinity War because that was Disney's next big movie. There was no excitement. Like the people behind us were making comments.
They were actually making comments before the trailers. Remember they had like a little clip about Solo, like a behind the scenes thing or something before the trailer.
Oh, that's right.
And the guy behind us is like, about it was better than Last Jedi, but I'm not getting my hopes up because it got my hopes up last time.
And it crashed.
And he's like, and I'm not buying that movie. They want $25 for it, and I'm not buying it. And these are your target audience, and they're like, I will not buy Last Jedi because it sucks so bad. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of people. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, this is going to be a problem because there were actually people using, because the Solo trailer was, I think, the last one before the movie started. People were getting up to go pee during the Solo trailer. Like they do not.
They're on their phones or whatever. They
and
they were glued to Deadpool though.
And I can't remember the last time that a Star Wars trailer has ever elicited that much.
I've never seen a Star Wars
Even
trailer.
The Last Jedi, people were glued to their seat. They're, oh my god, this is Star Wars. Rogue One, oh my god, this is Star Wars. Oh my god, it's a Death Star. Oh my god, Darth Vader's helmet. This one, they're just like, who cares?
After Last Jedi, I don't even want to.
Who cares?
Basically, their thought is, you let me down so bad, I don't know if I'm going to even.
The Last Jedi was a huge. I mean, I know there's a lot of debate as to whether or not the movie is good or not or whatever, but the backlash to the Last Jedi, has split the fandom down the middle, and I think there's going to be, because they did win back some goodwill with The Force Awakens because they brought Han back, and Han acted like Han, but then they kind of flushed it away with The Last Jedi because there were a lot of things that were unexpected.
They set up a lot of things that they totally
and they
trashed.
didn't
I blame one person, but that's another story entirely.
That's a whole nother story.
Actually, a couple people, but
anyway, what is interesting is that I've never seen
Star
Wars has always been on another level. Star Wars has always been like, like reverential, like in this whole audience is full of geeks.
Everybody hushes and watches the Star Wars trailer.
Shut up, the Star Wars trailer. I'm gonna go see this movie just to
see the Star Wars
trailer.
Yeah.
And they were like when Phantom Menace, they had the trailer. People were going to see the movie, whatever, I forget what movie it was attached to, but just to see the trailer and leave. Like it's always been like this huge moment, for people to and Solo. Just people are like, I don't care. I don't. They really care.
And basically their attitude is, I don't want to. One, I have a lot of people I know are fans. They're like, I'm worried because what I'm seeing doesn't look like Han Solo. Two, they're all like, you let me down with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to spend my money on you again. And
that's
what I'm hearing.
It's also too soon. I think if
they're putting them too close together.
I think because the wounds are still fresh from.
That sounds bad. You're talking about a movie. The wounds.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
wounded me personally.
I know, but what I'm saying is there wasn't enough time for people to have some perspective, because it's only been a few months since The Last Jedi was out. It just came out on Blu-ray.
Well, it gets me.
And people are still angry about it. And you're going to drop another Star Wars movie with a guy imitating Harrison Ford, and it's bad timing.
What gets me about The Last Jedi is, you can't just say I don't like it or I do like it. It has to be some political, supercharged, you're an ist on this, you're like a misogynist, you're a, whatever, because you didn't like it. And I think it's funny because of all the people we know, and I'm like the only girl of the people that we've talked to, it's all guys. And the only one who didn't like Rey and didn't like this and thought it was the whole feminist push thing was a little bit over the top was the one female. None of you guys said that.
Yeah, you can say it. No, I actually.
None of you. That's not why any of you guys. You guys had no problem with that.
The problem I had with the Force Awakens, and I didn't hate the Force Awakens. I was just.
I hated it. Or no, I didn't like either. Yeah, I didn't like The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi.
I didn't love The Force Awakens, but at least
it was quasi decent. You could watch it again.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
It was a New Hope.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry,
that was my complaint.
It was a New Hope.
It was derivative of the New Hope, but at least we had another movie with Han Solo in it, and Han Solo acted like Han Solo, and I actually thought for the most part, like Finn's storyline, I really enjoyed. I thought
they had a good thing with Finn.
I like Poe.
Yeah, I like Poe.
I didn't completely hate Rey.
I just think she's
at that point.
That's a whole other podcast.
She wasn't as bad. She wasn't as insufferable in The Force Awakens as she becomes in The Last Jedi. And the problem I have with The Last Jedi is, Han got to be Han in the movie before they killed him.
That was not Luke.
Ruined Luke Skywalker forever, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah, we gotta stop ranting about that.
Yeah, we're gonna stop ranting. Anyway, the point being that the fandom is really
polarized.
Not happy, and now was not a good time to bring another Star Wars movie out, especially when it's controversial as Solo, where you're recasting Harrison Ford.
Not just that, but what we're hearing, I think if you thought the last one was polarizing, this one might be worse.
Yeah, there's some rumors going around, and hopefully they're just rumors, because I heard a lot of crazy rumors about Infinity War that turned out not to be true. But if these Solo rumors are true,
it's going to be worse.
I think it's going to be like a death knell for the Star Wars franchise being a major plot. I think at that point, Marvel will have eclipsed Star Wars as being the pop culture, the geek franchise of choice.
Let's hope those rumors aren't true.
Let's hope they're not true.
But hope they don't go the same way they tried to do with Last Jedi. Because if they did, that's going to be a bad thing.
But Disney's got a problem because Deadpool's coming out a couple days later. And
everybody was like...
They were going nuts for Deadpool.
They were.
And it looks fantastic.
It does. And they make a lot of DC jokes, which I thought was hilarious.
It's like, wow, I forget what he said exactly, but it's like, you're dark and gritty. You sure this isn't the DC universe?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was funny.
To Cable, because he's all funny. All serious. They got a Thanos joke in there too, because Josh Brolin plays both characters.
Yeah, he made a Thanos joke. I thought it was funny. But getting off the movie now, because I think we've spent enough time ranting about that, and people actually want to hear news. So maybe we should have saved that for the end. Okay, so tying into the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live stage show, which is, let's focus on Guardians because we got a ride and the stage show coming.
Yeah, right.
And they have a date for that now. Okay, this is going to be at the American Gardens Theater. That's the theater. They always have the music groups perform in front of the American Adventure in the World Showcase at Epcot. They're going to start on June 9th, and it's going to run until August 19th. I believe it's like 5 shows a day.
Okay.
And it's going to be Star-Lord and Gamora. And so that's going to be an awesome mixed live show.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say. I mean, at first I'm like, okay, that's really stupid. But I'm like, they've been playing pop song, and that's a huge part of Guardians. Is
they did it again in this too?
Yeah, they did, which was kind of weird. See the movie shift from but
that's who they are.
That's who they are, and but yeah, it's going to be kind of strange to have that. But they're playing pop songs now. They've got bands all the time. actual
Right.
band, the actual
That's what I'm saying.
bands
It's not
are
much
there.
different. They're just playing the awesome
They're just
mix
dressed up
songs.
like
Star-Lord and
Star-Lord and Gamora.
doing
So
awesome
it's,
mixed music.
if you don't like it, just go across the street and watch
Actually,
Voice
I
of
kind of want to
Liberty.
see. I want to see it. I think it sounds cool. So they're doing that. Now I'm going to talk about some Star Wars stuff. Okay. So they have a Millennium Falcon experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess this is probably trying to drum up attention for Solo. StarWars.com posted there's going to be a touring Millennium Falcon experience. It's going to come to 4 cities. Basically what it is constructed inside 3 40-foot long shipping containers. Visitors can stop by Lando's bar, sit at the famed, I don't know how to say it, Dejeric table. That must be a Solo thing.
No, that's the
chess? No.
Yeah, that's the hologram.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I always heard holo chess. And finally get the chance to say punch it from the inside of the iconic cockpit. The finest details were crafted using the same molds used in Solo: A Star Wars Story. So they're going to bring these 4 shipping containers that you can walk into, basically.
Yeah.
To 4 cities. They have Northern Kentucky University, April 27th through 29th. Atlanta Braves Stadium, May 4th through the 6th. Salt Lake City Megaplex, 20 at Jordan Commons, May 18th through 20th. And Denver Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, Littleton, May 25th through 27th.
The Draft House makes sense. But
so,
I think what's weird about this, though, is one, it's very last minute.
Yeah, it's like we got to do something about this. People aren't happy.
Yeah.
Throw something together. We're only going to go to 4 places.
Yeah, they're only going to 4 places. The places are like oddball choices. Like you'd think they'd be going to like L.A., New York.
Well, the ones at university. I'm like, yeah, guys, I got to tell you, the university students around us didn't give a crap about it.
They're not excited about Solo.
And they were like so mad at you for Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So,
that's kind of like, I don't know what to say here because like even when Cars 3 came out, they had a tour and they had life-size models of the cars, but they started it 3-4 months before, and it was a nationwide trip, and they started 3 or 4 months before the film came out. I think they kind of look at it to see how the film is tracking Solo. They keep saying Disney keeps saying. Well,
I'm
Disney
hoping
keeps
they're
saying,
pleasantly surprised. I'm
hoping
praying for that miracle.
I wasn't sure what to make of.
I love Star Wars. Yeah. I don't want it to be ruined.
Solo was one I was actually looking forward to because I liked Rogue One. You like Rogue One.
Oh, I love Rogue One.
Like Rogue One, above the 3 Disney movies so far, Rogue One is hands down the best.
I would say that, and then I would say The Force Awakens would be the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't. I don't like it
It's
that
derivative,
much, but it really isn't that terrible.
But it's entertaining. At least it's entertaining. Last Jedi was just groan-inducing.
Was just terrible.
It was just groan-inducing.
But there are free tickets for this. So if you're in those areas, the free tickets will be distributed on the first-come basis for the weekend. So like on Friday, if you want to go see it Friday, you have to be there at 10:30 a.m. and they're going to start with the earliest entry time for the same day. And then Saturday and Sunday can be obtained on the day of entry beginning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So you have to be there, first come, first serve for 10:30 a.m. on Friday, Saturday and Sunday 8 a.m. So if you're in those locations, if you get some pictures, share them. We'd love to see them. Yeah,
that'd be cool because we're not going to Kentucky just to see the inside of a shipping crate.
So, but that sounds cool though, and they're free. It does sound cool. I mean, that's something else that tells me they're desperate. They made it free.
Well, they kind of did that with, I think, with the Cars 3.
But the Cars wasn't that popular, I don't think either. I think it's more popular now than Star Wars, but it wasn't.
Cars, no, I think what prompted that nationwide tour, from what I remember, was Cars 3 was not tracking well. And it did okay, but it didn't.
But they aren't that. I mean, the first one did really well. The ones that after.
Well, it's because the second one was terrible. The second Cars movie was terrible.
Great.
I haven't seen the third one yet. I've heard it was way better than the second one.
I haven't seen it either.
I've actually never. I mean, of all the Pixar movies, the only ones I could say I didn't like. I've never finished the first one.
Really? I have. It's just like, have you seen Doc Hollywood?
Yeah.
Then you've seen Cars.
Well, no, we actually watched. Okay, so here's just to give you an idea of like Cars. So I took my son to go see it. He was little. He was like 3, I think, when the first one came out. And he got bored about 3/4 of the way through the movie. We walked out of the movie.
I was sick that day or something. I couldn't go.
Yeah, and he wanted to go to the arcade. They had an arcade in the movie theater, and we went over there.
Based on the best-selling novel Sweet Bitter,
All I had was a vision. Endless city streets. A 24-hour life.
Stars presents a new original series.
Coming here. It's not a mistake, is it? New York is never a mistake.
Sweet Bitter. Watch now on Stars. Get the Stars app today and start your free trial.
But I tried watching it on TV before, and I think I got back to the same place that I did before. I've actually never, And I'm a horrible Disney fan, but I have never seen the ending of Cars because I get bored. Like, it's the only Pixar movie
that you haven't watched
that I've never sat the whole way through. And the second one, I actually watched all the second one, and it was just
I have not
awful.
seen the second one. I just didn't care.
It was horrible. We had it on
I'll be honest.
DVD, and I think we sold the DVD. And then the third one, though, I've actually heard was pretty good. They said it's very like Rocky-esque. And it's on Netflix right now.
The first one was Doc Hollywood. What was
the
second one?
Second one was The Man Who Knew Too Little, I think.
And what's the new one?
And the new one would
it's
be Rocky, yeah.
Okay,
or
so
Rocky Balboa, where he makes a comeback.
If you've seen those movies, you've already seen the Cars movies.
Yeah, just replace the people with cars, and there you go.
And then we gotta move on here. So some other Star Wars news. There's going to be a Star Wars Resistance show. It is the new Lucasfilm's animated Star Wars show coming. It's going to be coming this fall to Disney Channel first. It's going to premiere there, and then it's going to get a regular spot in Disney XD.
So now is this? I didn't do the story on this one. Is this CG? Is this going to be like Clone Wars and Rebels?
Yeah, the same people. It's the same people that did.
Dave Filoni.
The guy, he's on it.
Okay.
And then a couple people that worked on Rebels are on it, and then there's somebody who did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is on it.
Oh wow.
And it's going to be done in an anime style, which I really like.
That might actually. Now, here's the thing about those series: they actually wind up usually being better than that. Like, people love Clone Wars. They're like, if you can get, the Star Wars prequels. Again, were not terribly popular with people, but people love the Clone Wars series that came out of that.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be a case of, hey, The Last Jedi stunk, but Resistance will actually be pretty good because
that's the team that's on it. I can't speak today. The team that's on it, but it's going to be an anime style show. It's going to focus on a character called Kazuda Shiona.
Fun.
Kazuda. They're not going to get that reference.
They're not going to get that.
Anyway, so he's sent on a mission by General Organa to a top secret surveillance to the First Order. And it's all about like ace pilots, so it's kind of like reminds me of like Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's kind of like ace pilots and stuff. Yeah, they said there's going to be some new people, and then there's going to be, Captain Phasma is going to be there, BB-8, and Poe's going to be in it for sure. Okay. They have the people doing the voices. Both the original actors are going to be the voices of the
Oscar
characters.
Isaac will be.
Yeah.
So this actually kind of excites me because I'm thinking, will we actually get an explanation as to where the freaking First Order came from? Because
we
haven't gotten an explanation of where the Resistance came from or where the First Order came from. Because last we saw from the Empire, Vader chucked the Emperor down the well. They had a big party, and that was it.
Yub-yubbed.
Yeah, there was yub-yubbing involved.
Still mad
and
to yub-yub out of the.
A lot of yubbing involved, and there's fireworks, and everybody's happy. And the next thing you know, it's like absolutely nothing changed.
Yeah,
they just changed the names of the rebellion and the Empire. And
I don't know. I hope it gets some answers, but it's basically going to be like they said. The guy he kind of based it off of like World War II fighter pilots and okay,
that might actually be pretty cool.
And I grew up. My parents are both pilots, and they actually ran the local airport, and my dad was an aircraft mechanic. So I'm like, ooh, this is like my kind of show. Yeah. So so that sounds really good, and it's going to be out this fall. It's going to premiere on Disney Channel, and then it's going to go to Disney XD because they're always trying to keep Disney XD up.
Yeah, Disney XD is like a lost cause. I think at this point,
they're trying everything they can.
But no, that's cool though because I know they ended Rebels sooner than people wanted them to, and they ended. Same with Clone Wars; they kind of wrapped up really quick to do Rebels. But both of those series have been incredibly well received by the fandom. I
have to watch this. I haven't caught up on them.
This one might actually redeem the sequel trilogy.
I don't have time to watch TV much. When I do, I'm usually watching like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. I have to catch up. This is going off of Star Wars now. A couple other news things that are not Star Wars related. Pixar Pier, the Mickey's Fun Wheel, is now going to become the Pixar Pier Pal Around.
Okay.
Which is clever, haha, Pal Around.
Pal Around.
Mickey's face is going to remain.
That's good. That's like the icon of the park.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
they can't really change
it.
But the gondola cars are getting new Pixar Pal themed like wraps, so they're getting redone. You have 2 characters per car, hence the Pal Around. So the ones they've showed so far, they have Miguel and Hector from Coco, Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, Eve and Wally from Wally, Joy and Sadness from Inside Out.
Yeah, I saw the artwork. I like the designs. They made it look very kind of, turn of the century. And they kept the... I mean, the thing about Pixar Pier is, they're retheming it, but they're also making sure it still looks like the pier, the Victoria, or the turn of the century. And I was sitting there thinking, like, if they took Mickey's face off of the wheel, and what if they had, like, a giant, like, Mike Wazowski eyeball that would actually blink at you, that would be freaking horrifying.
They could technically do it, but it would always stay upright, because like it does now, but they could probably do it with screens or something. But
yeah, but that'd be horrifying.
Sounds like a lot of expense,
if it would, like, look at you as you're walking
Yeah, that would
around
be scary.
blink
That would
and
terrify children.
It would be this giant.
This is why we don't let Tom design
Instead
theme
of the
parks.
Orlando eye, it's the Anaheim eye.
It's like,
it's just like staring at you.
It's actually an eye.
It's actually an eye, and it's actually.
And for Halloween, it's the eye of they're just to put the middle finger up towards Universal. They'll do like the eye of Sauron or something.
Oh my God, Mike Wazowski's eye turns red and is just like staring at you. That would be
There's
horrifying.
It's
That would be horrifying.
This is why we don't let Tom design theme parks.
This is why I'm not an Imagineer.
Okay, so Pixar Pier is going to open June 23rd, and they're going to have a bunch of they're retheming. Pretty much it's just retheming in the California Scream into the Incredicoaster and the Fun Wheel to Pixar Pier Pal Around.
It's very much an overlay, and I guess I'm not really sure what's going on with Ariel's Grotto, the restaurant. I
don't remember. I have to look it up.
Because people were mad when they made the announcement last year. I was looking at the comments on the Disney Parks blog, and people were angry because they're like, it's the only princess-themed character dining experience, and people were kind of upset about it because they're like, well, where are we going to go?
They don't have anything else that's princess?
I don't think they don't have. It's not Disneyland. They don't have the Cinderella's Royal Table. There's no restaurant in the very small castle. But yeah, most of the character design is Mickey, Minnie, Goofy,
classics.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more stories so we can let people go because this is running long. Okay, there was some trouble over in Pandora the last couple days. The Navi River and the Flight of Passage went down. They went down. Both went down.
Both went down.
Like a lot on the 24th, all day on the 25th, and yesterday that Navi was still down, but they were hoping Flight of Passage was going to be back up.
Well, as of this podcast recording, Navi's still down.
It is still down?
Yeah, because I checked it right before we came up. Yeah.
So the problem they thought was that there was an issue with the fire alarms because we're all in the same building, but that can't be the case because they'd both be still down if that was the case. And what they were saying was with people with the Fast Pass Plus, if you had a Fast Pass, if you come back next day, they'll issue you a new one if it was operating. But so far, it isn't because Flight of Passage was unlimited yesterday. I think it's limited today, but Navi was completely down again. So, and then if they do get Fast Passes, so you have Fast Passes that were already issued, Fast Passes from previous, does that mean anybody in standby is ever going to get a turn to get on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's a mess.
Well, the wait time on the app, right before we recorded the podcast, now we're recording this on Friday morning on the 27th. It was a 135-minute wait for Flight of Passage, and Navi's still down. So.
Okay. So apparently it's still down. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, the original idea of the fire alarm would make sense if everything was down because they are all in one building. But that doesn't make sense here because that would still be the case. Then everything would be closed. So I'm not sure what the deal is. But keep that in mind that Flight of Passage and Navi River are hit and miss.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're kind of hit and miss anyway because you ride the Navi River journey. You never know if the animatronic is going to be there or not. We've ridden it before and it's not been there. We've had some of our correspondents down there and they've ridden it and it's not been there. What they do actually
it's there more often than it's not.
It's there more.
Rare.
Yeah, it's there more often than it's not. But if she's not there, if the Shaman of Songs is not there, they have a screen that this is her videotape that's directly behind her. That I don't know if they just like pull her behind the screen or to
lower her down in
or lower her or something. But the screen behind her has the video of the animatronic on it. So, I mean, you're going to get the ride experience. You're just not going to have that gee whiz, look at that giant 12-foot woman moment.
That's not very, that's not very often.
No.
A couple more things here. I have two or three more things. Adventures by Disney. We had mentioned before they're doing a big thing to Japan next year.
Yeah.
So, if you're interested in that trip, it's going to start booking May 9th. Where can you call, Tom, if you want to book Adventures by Disney?
Go to MickeyVacations.com.
Yeah.
That's MickeyVacations.com. They do Adventures by Disney, and they are our travel sponsor.
And they'll get you to Disneyland, Disney World, Adventures by Disney, Disney Cruises.
And even Universal.
Yeah, they do Universal too now.
Yeah,
so you know, they'll get you. You can talk to them, and they'll get you hooked up with everything.
If you want to go to Disney World and Universal,
and I think they can hook you up with all of that. I think they can do other things too. So if you need to talk to them, and they can hook you up.
Yeah, different cruise lines.
Okay, so if you want to go to Orlando and you want to visit different places,
you want to visit everything in Orlando.
Yeah, and you don't want to go through all the hassle of setting it up. Just give them a call and they can get the whole thing set up for you. And you don't have to do a dang thing except show up and pay for it. So, okay, so Adventures by Disney Japan. These are 11-day, 10-night trips. And here's what they're saying about it. I'm going to read what they wrote. It's like you'll travel to Kyoto, famous for its numerous classical Buddhist temples, as well as gardens, imperial palaces, Shinto shrines, and traditional wooden houses. Here you'll visit the magnificent Pure Water Temple and the exquisite Fushimi Inari Shrine before traveling to Tokyo and see the Senshojo Temple and Meiji Shrine. I hope I'm saying that right. You'll also explore unique aspects of Japanese life while biking through rural Japan, surrounded by rice paddies, cruising on a riverboat through the heart of Tokyo, and traversing Kyoto's celebrated bamboo forest. Every time I hear this and talk about the forest and stuff, I can think of Sesame Street. Big Bird Goes to Tokyo.
Oh, Big Bird Goes to
Japan.
Yeah, our kids used to watch that when they were little. We had a DVD.
We're off to Kyoto, like Dorothy and Toto.
And then he was trying to buy the porcelain food, and then something about the Moon Princess.
Well, the Moon Princess, I think, takes place in the bamboo forest.
Yeah.
So, Kaguya. Princess Kaguya. Is
yeah,
the Moon Princess?
and she was on Sailor Moon.
Okay,
too.
yes, I know. That's why I remember, because I love Sailor Moon. Anyway, you're going through the bamboo forest. Plus, take in a healthy dose of culture, because I don't know what is an unhealthy dose, as you experience the wonder of time-honored samurai sword fighting and the intriguing charm of a Mako's dance performance. So, what is a healthy dose of culture?
If it's a toxic culture, then you don't want to be around it.
Okay, because I was like, what's a healthy dose? I mean, you only got a little bit of sword fighting, so not enough to hurt you.
Depends on the culture, I suppose. But no, that sounds pretty safe.
There's more.
Oh wait, there's more.
I got hung up on the healthy dose.
There's more.
And then it says, your kids won't even know they're learning, so trick your kids.
So it is like Sesame Street.
They soak in wisdom from local practitioners of the arts of taiko drumming, origami, and calligraphy.
See, we need to go on the trip so we can
learn how to say this stuff. I watch enough anime. I should know this stuff. So that sounds really cool. I'm sure it's pretty expensive. Don't know the prices.
I don't know, but you can contact MickeyVacations.com.
Yeah, because they're going to start May 9th.
May 9th for booking.
So
that
I honestly want to go to this. This sounds really awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I very much would like to go on this trip. So if you get to go on this trip, please let us know. Because
send
awesome.
pictures. That sounds pretty awesome.
I would very much like to go to this.
And that's are they starting it next year?
It's starting next year.
But you can book on.
But you can start booking May 9th. I'm not sure what the dates are, but they'll probably release that all on the 9th. So keep an eye out for that. And then Shanghai Disneyland's Toy Story Land open.
Everybody's got Toy Story Land now except for Disneyland.
Is that the other ones? Does France and Tokyo have it?
I believe so. I know
Hong Kong?
Hong Kong has one. I think France has one.
Well, this one just opened. There's pictures of it up if you go to the blog. They have Rex's Racers, so we're gonna get the Slinky Dog Dash. They got the Rex's Racers.
Yeah,
there's kind of like
that's
the
one
U-shaped.
I think that's one they have in Hong Kong, where it's almost like one of the pirate ship galleons, where it just kind of.
Then the car goes down. It's a track. Yeah. It's like U-shaped.
Yeah.
So they have that up with a giant Rex. We're gonna have a giant Rex, but ours is on top of the Slinky Dog Dash. They have a Woody, like the Hollywood Studios Woody, where he's tipping his hat. Same thing. This is what's different is it's got like a cute old Western town facade, and it's really cute. I don't think that we're gonna get that here.
No, we're getting Tinker Toys, and now
they have Tinker Toys there too, though.
Yeah, I think they do have most of them. This one though, compared to Walt Disney World, I think is the only one that's getting the Slinky Dog Dash coaster because it's got the room for it because it's a big coaster.
It's the whole way across.
Yeah, most of them do that, but yeah, I could see them doing the Western theme, like going with the Woody's Roundup, because to them that's like a foreign concept.
Yes, they do. They have like the buildings, like the sheriff building, all that, and they're very cute. It's very adorable. But they also got an Al's Toy Barn. So jealous.
We were supposed to.
Toy Barn.
Yeah, I don't know exactly if it was because there wasn't enough room, or
I'm thinking it's private room,
or because I'm trying to think where they would even put it. Like, I'm thinking the layout.
Or they needed to cut money from there to put into Star Wars or something.
Well, I could be too.
Or they decided to do the gondolas and stuff too, so maybe. But we were supposed to get Al's Toy Barn. We're not. They have one. It's so cute. If you go look at the blog, you can see pictures of it. It's adorable. But if you want to go to Shanghai Disney to check it out, you can contact Mickey Vacation.
Yeah, I think they do that. They don't have it on their site, but I'm pretty sure if you contact them, they can.
Or they'll get you hooked up. One more story, and it is Dapper Day. Dapper Days are here, and Walt Disney World is going to have Dapper Days events. Tonight from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., they're doing it at the Edison.
Okay.
Now, the Edison's in downtown Disney, or Disney Springs, sorry. It's in Disney Springs now. It used to be downtown Disney. Now it's Disney Springs.
Shopping district.
The shopping district. Kick off our spring weekend with the dancing and mingling at the newest Disney Springs establishment. Enjoy special cocktails created just for us, plus a selection of Dapper Day merchandise. No cover charges, all ages 21 up after 10 p.m. And they have bands at 9:30. So they're doing Dapper Day there. Then tomorrow, the 28th, they're doing it at Magic Kingdom. And they're also having some kind of special event at the Contemporary to buy merchandise.
Okay.
But they ask that you please park in the Magic Kingdom parking lot and take the monorail over. And then Sunday, they're doing it at Epcot.
Okay, yeah, I knew that the Epcot one.
And they're in special like photo places and stuff like that.
We missed it by a week.
Yeah.
So,
and I had a dress.
Yeah, I know.
I had a dress, and it wasn't intentional, but I mean,
yeah.
But we have friends that are going.
Yeah, we do have
so
friends.
So we're going to try to get some pictures.
We'll get a report of some kind.
We'll have them. Maybe we'll try to get them on or something and see if they can talk about it. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay. Well,
sorry we're a day late today, guys, but we kind of got thrown off with travel.
We got thrown off with travel. We had a lot going on this week, and but that's good because we had a chance to watch Infinity War and
get to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And we tried not to spoil it. I don't think we did.
Not to spoil it. I'm sure by the time you get around to listening to this, you probably already watched it anyway. So, anyway, subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on Stitcher, follow us on Facebook. Go to KingdomInsider.com for more Disney news and rumors, and we will talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Pirates and Princesses is a production of Clownfish Studios. We are an unofficial Disney podcast, not endorsed or affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. You can visit us on the web at piratesandprincesses.net. That's piratesandprincesses.net. You can shoot us an email at piratespodcast@gmail.com. That's piratespodcast@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening, and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Based on the best-selling novel Sweet Bitter,
All I had was a vision. Endless city streets. A 24-hour life.
Stars presents a new original series.
Coming here. It's not a mistake, is it?
New York is never a mistake.
Sweet Bitter. Watch now on Stars. Get the Stars app today and start your free trial.